Yeah. I think we are live. Let me check on our Facebook page here. Yeah, it always switches
No, it says
now to public.
was. Yeah, you're live now.
Yep. Okay, let's come. All right. I think we are good to go. Thank you for coming back to Educators Drinking Coffee. I am Juan Castillo. I am have a special guest here today, and he is Mr. Nick Stanley, and he works with me. So I'll let him kind of introduce himself.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
my name is Nick Stanley. I'm the director of bands at Pasquotank County High School. This is my first year as a teacher. I spent 4 years at East Carolina studying music education, and I also attended Pasquotank County High School as a student. Graduated in 2014.
That's awesome. Awesome. ECU, go Pirates. I'm a former Pirate
Yes, sir.
myself.
Yes, sir.
So today, again, this is Educators Drinking Coffee. So I am drinking, I'm cheating today. Some reason I did not feel like black coffee. So I have actually coffee and cream. It's still the same coffee, the Colombian coffee. It's called Café Sello Rojo. I don't know if you've had some of that I brought to school, Mr. Stanley, but it's the same one. They tell people it's very smooth. It's probably one of the most popular brands in Colombia, if not the most popular one. So what are you drinking this morning?
I'd be honest with you. I don't drink anything that has a ton of carbonation or caffeine. The only thing I drink is sweet tea and water. So I have water in my cup today.
Oh, that's good. Hey, that's, we all, I figure, um, just coffees is something a lot of us drink, but you do the right thing, man. Drinking water. I definitely should do that a little bit more myself. So those of you watching on Facebook, make sure you kind of make a little comment or something, say hi, make sure this is all broadcasting through, and the same thing on Facebook. So I brought in Mr. Stanley today to talk about it with his experience and his area of expertise in the music and the band. Talk a little bit about because he has a key role. Today's topic is really about graduation, and so we know graduation is not going to look the same this year as it has in past years. You're, I guess, put it in small sense. You graduated about six so years ago
Yeah.
from Pasquotank. Tell me a little bit about that graduation. I mean, what do you remember from it? Where was it? How was it?
I mean, so that was back when we were doing indoor or outdoor shows or graduations. I remember I'll go back to my freshman year. Right before the whole thing started, it started lightning, and we knew a bad storm was coming. And fortunately, the way it was set up was they had everything outside, and they had the gym set up for a smaller graduation in case. Well, everybody was already outside, and next thing we know, we had to move it inside. Sophomore year, we had it outside, which was awesome. Junior year, I was a junior marshal. We had it inside because the threat of rain, and they went ahead and put it inside from the get go, which was great. And then my senior year, they put it inside as well. I wanted it outside, but it was a good event. It was definitely a moment I won't forget. It was, it was a high school graduation. It wasn't as done up as a college graduation. Now I've had that experience, but it's the best thing in the world. You feel like you're on top of the world at that point. I mean, yeah, 6 years ago, it feels like it's a long time, but it really, in all actuality, it was almost yesterday.
Yeah, that's great. Now, did you guys? Now, I graduated a while ago, '93. So, but
I wasn't even born.
I remember we kind of did a prank on our principal. Now, I'm not giving anybody any advice, but what we did was I forgot who it was. Somebody in our class gave everybody like either like a jelly bean, but it wasn't a jelly bean. It was like a lima bean. And so everybody had a lima bean. So when we went and shook the hand of our principal, we gave him a lima bean. So the trick was, after so many, he had no idea what to do. So you started seeing this pile, because my graduating class was somewhere around 200 to 300, and down in Florida.
I had about 160.
Yeah, and so anyways, it was like the last joke we put on our principal. I believe Mr. Nagy was it Mr. Nagy I can't remember, Mr. Rossello. It's been so long ago, but yeah, I always thought that was very funny to kind of play one last trick, something that wasn't too getting anybody upset. It was kind of like a funny
Right.
joke. So, did you guys do anything like that or no?
No. There was some other things that we all know about that would happen, but I don't think my class did anything. So
Now, were you guys threatened about? We were threatened that we couldn't throw our cap because otherwise we wouldn't get our diploma.
I honestly don't remember. I know that we couldn't have our phones and all that stuff on us.
Yeah.
They would, they do a whole pat down and all that good stuff. But I don't remember. I knew I wasn't going to throw mine if they made us. If everybody did, I was like, I don't want to lose it.
Yeah. They too. When we graduated, and I know it's very different here. In North Carolina, at least from my experience. When you walk across stage, you literally get your diploma. And in Florida, when we graduated, we don't.
Oh, really?
We got just the cover, and then they told us that we had to write our names on our caps, and then because we did ours at the local arena, in West Palm Beach, and so we had to take our cap with our names on it and show it to them, and then they would give us our diploma in a different area, and then we could walk out. That was like the threat. We wouldn't get our diplomas. I'm sure they can't keep it, but as a kid, you don't think about it.
No. Yeah, we definitely got ours. As soon as we walked across, you see them looking up, like y'all do now. Oh, yep, the right one. Here you go. Yep, here you go.
So that's why ours. Yeah, we never, for our sakes, the graduations went quickly because it didn't matter which thing you got. It was just for show. Yep. It's funny you talk about making sure cell phones are. Good morning, Miss Wilkerson. Thank you for stopping by. Talking about cell phones. Of course, the biggest thing when I was in high school were pagers. So we just had to make sure our pagers were on silent at least. But no, those are good times, man. And it is something like you think about it now, whether it's everything went without a hitch, you still remember that day. And so we're here to talk about graduation and how can we make it special. I know we've talked about ideas, we've talked about things. Normally, of course, the band plays a big part, playing the music. Have you had any conversations with your students, especially seniors, that would have played a part in that?
Well, I mean, in years past, it's really a freshman, sophomore band and the juniors that are not junior marshals that played at graduation. The seniors have never, to my knowledge, played at their own graduation. So I know the year I graduated, the next year my brother was graduating from Pasquotank. And I was called into play because I was here local, and then I played at probably 3 graduations after I graduated, and then I just said, okay, I'm done. I was like, I'm like 19, 20 years old. I'm just ready to stop. And I like doing it, but it's always been that way. Mr. Russell, the previous director, would bring in a couple of people to play along as well. So we'd beef up a section a little bit. Gotcha. But as far as this year, there hasn't been a lot of talk. There's so many different things that we could do with graduation this year as far as the band side of things.
Yeah.
But, it's almost like getting the 1992 Dream Team back together now. Michael Jordan, yes, is, the conversation is he the greatest of all time or is LeBron James? It doesn't matter about Michael Jordan right now. He hadn't played a game in almost 20 years.
Yeah.
So, trying to put the band back together, and we've been out of school 2.5 months.
Yeah.
It's those 2.5 months, if you haven't played your instrument, could be detrimental. So to my students that are watching this, because I did share this on the band's Facebook page, if you haven't practiced and you told me you have practiced, don't lie to me next time. Go practice, crack the case open, go play something.
I want to say really quickly, good morning to Miss McDonald Morgan for stopping by, and Miss Kendall Hagman. She's been passing by every morning, so I appreciate them passing by. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so it's like we were talking about before the show. If you're not used to exercising or doing something, because all this embouchure right here it's a muscle. That's all it is. And if you're not exercising that muscle, it just doesn't work. For me with my trumpet playing, I'm a trumpet player. If I don't practice like I should, and I don't, unfortunately. My high range isn't where it needs to be. I could hit notes if this is the staff, your first line, second line, third line, fourth line, fifth line. I could hit way up here, when I was in college and a little bit before college. Now I could probably hit about right here because I just haven't played as much. So it's a catch-22. Unfortunately for the seniors all across the United States, graduation isn't going to look the same this year as it has in years past. And it's not just them, hopefully when we get back to school in the fall, things look the same. Hopefully with summer, with football workouts, fall sports workouts, band camps, we're looking at as close to normal as possible. Whether or not that happens is going to be something that, each state and each school system and each municipality and all that has to work at to figure out. We just don't know, today how this summer is going to work out.
Gotcha. Kendall also says, with their recognition ceremony for online students, they're going to do it remotely. Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy thing. And I will tell you, like, I'm in Dare County. I live in Dare County. And here, my daughters go to Dare County. They have decided they've put out their graduation plan, superintendent, and he actually changed a couple sites. And there was a big uproar within a day with like 500 signatures saying they're looking, they want almost like a traditional, because he said it from the get-go, we just can't have a traditional ceremony. And folks are really up in arms about trying to have a traditional ceremony. And he's going to give it more time. He's going to give it to June 1st. Hopefully things kind of, maybe there's a change.
I saw something about doing something down in Manio I think it might have been at the Lost Colony Theater.
Well, I think that's where Manual High School usually has their graduation. Yeah. And I think he was changing a lot of the facilities. Don't quote me on this, but I think somewhere like inside the gyms. And I understand that because it's going to be over days. Weather this time of a year, you just don't know. And, there's so many factors that if you can eliminate one, and that's a big one. I mean, you were part of that, when you plan for an outdoor and then you have, possibility of rain, that throws everything. People are going to get upset because not everybody can go into the facility to watch their loved ones graduate. So, if from the get-go you have that precedence, like we're doing the gym, you can only have 5 people, whatever it is. I think it's an easier pill to swallow. But anyway, so they're dealing with that. So I think he's going to give it to about June 1st. Hopefully some restrictions are eased and maybe they can plan it. I honestly, I wish the best for them and then for every senior, because I know they want the same thing. But I don't know. As I think when you're a teenager, most of the times you don't want to stand out, but you kind of at the same time want to be able to be remembered. Yeah. And this is the time. Your graduation is, every senior is going to be unique, and you're going to remember this even more than probably the way ours, because ours was pretty much, traditional, nothing really, no major hiccups. Everything went well.
Well, and at the same time, if this same thing would have happened 20 years ago, we're in online learning right now, that wouldn't have happened. We could not have had the online instruction that we have today.
Not even close.
Go back even 10 years ago, or even when I was in high school at Pasquotank, my first day on the job with students in session, I'm looking around and I see all these students that are taking online classes. That was never the case when I was a student. There was not a big push, or at least it didn't seem like there was as big of a push. Now it seems like the push is for online education, and to take advantage of, like the COA stuff. And I think that's outstanding. As a resource, let's use it. But with the technology, how it's improved, now we can actually stream graduation over Facebook or YouTube or on a platform like this. That's where districts work together with their technology department and try to come up with the best plan where we have the best audio, the best video, and whether it's over Facebook or video streaming, or we do it over an FM radio station, or if we just call a radio station and say, hey, can you come up and broadcast our graduation over? I just thought about that, to be honest with you. And I really think that, and this is something that I might have to bring up, if we contact a local radio station, I think they would come up and broadcast our graduation.
I tell you, and that's a great idea, because I tell you one thing that could be, because there's still a lot of ideas being floating out there, and Miss Kendall talked about exactly, people make it special and unique, and I think that's what we have to do for our seniors. Good morning, Mr. Harrell. One of the things you can do with a broadcast too is people who are not at the facility
absolutely
can join that radio station and hear it. Here, like an example, here in Dare County, I apologize, I don't know that there's a local radio station that broadcasts in the morning, and the elementary schools are tied. They have this like their PBIS, and my little one Genevieve has won like Student of the Month like a couple times, like each year that we've been out here, because of her friendliness, because of willingness to clean up. Anyway, so like for about 2 minutes, they broadcast. They say, WKR, I don't want to say, I'm thinking of that old show, WKRP in Cincinnati, but something like that with the kids. And they, anyway, they say Genevieve is, elementary school, Student of the Month, blah, blah, blah. And it's really cool. So it made me think, when you talk about the radio station, that can be broadcasting. Let me see. Kendall's saying we're going to do virtual reception following the online ceremony using Zoom. Right? That's cool. That is cool.
Yeah.
And Zoom has definitely so much now possibilities, and they are really they're somewhat killing it right now, because a lot of businesses and just industries are using Zoom, and they're coming out with new things every time. So it's a good platform.
One of the things that I know we were talking about at the school level was creating a temporary radio station, and the biggest concern that I had, I talked to the band's representative from Sweetwater, a pro audio company, and the guy was like, I hope you have enough power to produce out to so many vehicles. I'm like, yeah, that could be a problem. That's where he recommended going streaming. But you get a radio station, whether it's whoever, if we can get a local radio station to do it, they have plenty of power, especially around this area. And I really think that would be the way to go for a radio thing,
Yeah. No. And like I said, in the future, one of the things that, school districts, and we've tossed this idea, like I said, we're going to meet this Thursday, but aside, having, of course, maybe a drive-by with a stage and things like that. Those are something inside it, in the gym. That's a possibility. Definitely recording, like Kendall's talking about, your valedictorian, recording that speech, any other speeches, recording those, and being able to broadcast that. I think this is me just envisioning, as far as doing some things prior to it, and the actual day that their graduation was supposed to take place. That's when you release any pre-recorded, and here's the other thing, and Dare County is going to do this, and I think it's a great idea, because of the situation with our seniors. We have to make unique. I think we have to really try to go all out and really hire some good recording studio to record, the diplomas, to take pictures, and to create all that into nice montage, the video to be released on graduation day, at the exact time they were supposed to have their ceremony. Because they deserve it.
They do.
Some of us, and me, I do some of this little funny stuff with the videos and stuff. And but the reality is, to make a video like that, we can't do it cheesy. We really have to do it as professional as possible. And I think we have to, try to see, where we can find some funds to pay somebody who can really, make this really creative and memorable. Good morning, Miss Melanie. So, I mean, it's the kind of thing that the uniqueness, the experience. You were there last week when we gave cap and gowns. You can see there was a sense of I think because we hadn't seen each other in so long, but the smiles came into the kids and everything. And I'm like, I think, this somewhat remote virtual ceremony, or just a smaller scale, can actually still work and still have the feeling of it, still be unique, special. I just think we have to think things out,
especially when you can get the families involved. One of the I don't want to give out too much information, but some of the stuff that we've talked about at the school level, and some of the things that I'm talking about, that there's some that I think are really going to be special to the students. I'm obviously going to be the first one to say I'd like to have an in-person, do something kind of similar to the cap and gown situation. There's other stuff that we've talked about, but you're right. The seniors deserve something big, and they deserve something that's going to be that they'll remember. I mean, obviously they're going to go ahead and remember that, class of 2020, the first graduating class that didn't have a graduation. Yeah, but we can fix that. We can change that up just a little bit. And the other thing is you have to get the community behind it. We're not, Pasquotank County High School, Northeastern High School, ECPPS, whatever, Dare County schools, whoever, you have to have that community support behind it. And I will tell you this as somebody who's lived in Elizabeth City all my life, you promote it enough, it'll happen. You can get the people behind it. It's just a matter of how good you market it. And that's the key. And I know there's a lot of people, a lot of businesses, a lot of agencies that are wanting to do stuff for these seniors because they haven't had a chance, to experience senior year to the fullest.
And when the reality is, and I say this because I come from not only born in a city of about almost 5 million people, but also coming from Palm Beach County, which has over 1 million people.
Yeah.
This is a small town. Elizabeth City is a small town, and there's a lot of generations like yourself that have come through, and so a lot of businesses are tied to a lot of the students that we have here. That their neighbors, their grandkids, their kids, and so you're right. I mean, people want to help, businesses want to help, and they realize the uniqueness of this situation. I keep using that word, but that I know they want to help. We do have, just like last week, we had one of our local business partners, Montero's, helped with lunch for teachers on Wednesday. So people like that are just willing to step up, and help in any way possible. And one of the things we've, like I said, we floated around is maybe have more of an evening type, to add more of a formal piece to it. And that's something different. I don't know if I've talked to you about, trying to use LCD projectors to project, some of the students is kind of like how they do. I know in Florida it happens where, there's a street that's all decorated for Christmas and people line up the streets in their cars, something like that, with showing the images of our seniors. And if we can find pictures of them like during band and post those, not always be the formal picture, senior picture, I think would be cool. A lot of great ideas are being tossed around. We still have to wait for guidance of course, from our ECPPS leaders, and we're going to follow that. But there's a lot of great ideas, and I think we've seen it already with everybody joining on board to be part of the committee. That I think we're going to be able to do something special for them. Yeah,
absolutely. And, you talk about the community in and of itself. Well, you were there, what was it, this past Saturday.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Excuse me, with the fire department.
Yes.
If you didn't see that, go on either the Pasquotank County High School Facebook page or the Pasquotank County High School band Facebook page, or the Pasquotank Providence Fire Department Facebook page, and you can see the message that we spelled out, and it said congrats congrats PCHS 2020, spelled out with different pieces of fire equipment. That was something that Mr. Castillo brought to my attention, and he was like, "Hey, can your fire department do it that you're a member of?" And I said, we'll try to figure something else out. And one of the comments that one of my captains made to you guys was that this is our school. He's had kids go through it. Yeah. We've had one of our firefighters out there is currently a student at Pasquotank County High School. Yeah. I'm a former student, and I work here at Pasquotank County High School. So there's a lot of people in that department that have had family members, if not their own kids, and if not them, in that department. So when we say this is our school, like, no, we mean it, and when they say we'll do anything we can for that school, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that was
the things we're about the community.
And I have to admit, man, I mean, I think as soon as I finished my sentence, as far as is this something you can do, you're like, yeah, we can make this happen. So I appreciate you taking the leadership on that. That was awesome. Awesome experience watching you guys putting it together.
I had talked to the guys that helped out. I mean, they really, you sent me the picture from the Greene County department. I drew it up and it looked awful, because I'm a band director, not an art teacher. But the guys took it and they're like, yeah, we can make this happen. I was like, all right, sounds good. Let's do it. And about 2 hours later, we had the whole thing done.
Yeah, that was awesome. And
yeah, absolutely.
I love the backdrop of the 2020 really stands out.
Yes.
When those of you that get a chance to see the picture, I think it should be also on our school webpage, Pasquotank County High School. I really do appreciate everything. The fire department, we have a fire department class, a fire tech class at our school. So, that is something we love to promote out there. Same thing, with some of the other courses, but I wanted to try to see also to find out, as we got about 5 more minutes here. So for you to a little bit of what's in the works for the band, what are your hopes? You're finishing out your first year. Where do you see the band yourself, in the next 2, 3 to 5 years?
So obviously every band director's goal is growth. Everybody wants to have, well, I say everybody, I would like to have a larger, a much larger band. I would love to be to the point where, we have, like this past year, we had 59 people in the marching band. So that was between brass, woodwinds, percussion, the pit, which is the front ensemble, percussion, color guard, and drum major. So out of those groups, we had 59 people. That's great. That's really good. That's a good number. But I want to see in that next couple of years, that number get closer to 80. For a 2A high school for sports, to go along with the North Carolina High School Athletic Association classification, for a 2A school, I would love to see us around 80 people, if not, getting closer to that 100 number. If we can get 80, that I think will be one of the largest bands on record with the school. And so,
that's awesome.
Well, we've only been around 20 years. So that's the goal. The other goal is to increase ties with the community. With only being around 20 years as opposed to other schools in the area that have been around much longer than that, our footprint, I feel like, isn't as big as what it needs to be. So that is one of the things that, I definitely stress to my students and parents and all that stuff. Let's get out there in the community. And they're on board with that. So trying to get the community footprint bigger, obviously, this year a lot of stuff is in limbo. Band directors, not just band directors, but football coaches and all sports, we're all wondering what's going to happen. That's just where you make the most of it. Whether or not we're on the road competing, or if we're out, just doing elementary tours, going around and playing at elementary schools once a month. I don't mind doing that. That's good PR.
I was going to say actually something, and I guess I'll steal this from my wife, who is an assistant principal herself. At her school, she instituted something like along with the PTO, like High Five Fridays.
I'm sorry, I was
it's called High Five Fridays. It's an elementary school. So what they do is, I think it's once a month. They make a big celebration as the kids are coming in, being dropped off. Every month there's like a group that's chosen to be part of a high five. So at first it was like, the parents. So as the kids are coming down the corridor to go into school, everybody's going high five, and it just creates this great atmosphere. And one thing they've done, they've gotten over like some of the sports teams from the local high school, and they wear their jerseys. I believe they've had the band. So I was thinking, it made me think of, especially when you just mentioned that the elementary schools, great way to to sell your program is, we have an elementary that's stuck right next to us.
Absolutely.
And partnering with administration there, and one day, having them, and your kids are the kind of kids that I know work hard and would be willing to show up early to do some celebration for them. So,
or flip it, do it at the end of the day. The elementary schools get out at about 2:30, 2:40. That is normally right in the middle of my class. We'll walk across the parking lot and, do that then. That might be the easier thing. I've already got my kids there. So
That's true. So,
or, and we get out, an hour later. So, okay, just say September we go to Northside Elementary, and October we go to another school, and keep going and going. I mean, that is an option. And when I say that I have planned every situation out, I have literally, like everybody, we're thinking about how is this year going to look if something changes, and if something does change, this is an option.
Yeah. Very good, very good. I want to thank Trinika for stopping by. I don't know if you know Trinika, but Trinika is she is the student that goes around with the coffee cart in the mornings. So a big hey to Trinika. She's been stopping by in the mornings. I'm glad to see you getting up early, Trinika. I know you missed it, so that's why you can't. You always want to make sure you get a chance to see me. So, but anyway, she's a sweetheart. But yeah, no, I mean it's the band got new uniforms this year, so we're excited. I use them. And one thing also I wanted, and I hope we get a chance to do this, because for the 2 years I've been at the school, I've had a chance to participate, and I don't know the name, but it's the event that you have in the fall with all the bands coming from
the Panther Band Classic, the competition we host.
Yes, and that is awesome. I really hope we get a chance to do something like that. I hope the situation.
It's on the agenda for the fall. So if we have if everything goes as usual, that thing is happening.
Yeah. So I encourage anybody local to get a chance to come by and see that when that information comes out. Hopefully we will have it. Or even I'm sure there's other districts that have something similar. Go attend one of those. I mean, supporting our kids and band it's an awesome thing. I think that's one thing I can say about your band booster is they're a very supportive group. I think that always is a big help. We do got to give them props because they're there every football game, no matter how cold it is, selling, trying to raise funds, and I think they worked hard to help get all this new uniforms.
They do, and it's hard to do all the work yourself, and you have to have a good group of parents, and that is one. We have is a great group of parents, great group of students, and it all works out in the end. And if like I said, if I didn't have the parents that were involved, helping either build stuff with their hands or do some of the behind the scenes work, then it would be extremely hard to run a competitive program in general, or a program in general, because if you don't have the support, you can't do it.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine being like a one person. I don't think you can. I don't. You really do have to.
Hard. It would be extremely hard. So,
well, good. I do appreciate it, and Mr. Stanley, you've been a great addition to Pasquotank. I love the fact that you're a former student, because you have so much at stake, because this is a place you went to school, you build, and you want to continue, and you want to make it the best school in North Carolina, the best school in the country, and that's absolutely the kind of effort we want. So I appreciate your passion for the kids and for the school. So we're gonna have to do this again. I enjoyed our talk. We'll find another topic in the near future. Is there anything you want to shout out to any band members? Anything?
Hey, just keep putting in the hard work and dedication. That was our motto this year. If you're not following us on social media, make sure you're following the band. Our Facebook page is at PCHS Panther Bands, and our not Twitter. We're on Instagram. I want to say, as I pull it up on my phone, it is. I want to say at PCHS Bands. Make sure you're following that. We'll be putting all sorts of stuff up there over the summer and throughout the school year. We post a ton of pictures, and we'll post stuff about the competition we host in October. Save the date. It should be October 17th. But as more information comes out with how this year's going to roll, we'll definitely be putting it out there for you guys.
Gotcha.
Stay safe, and keep practicing social distancing.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Mr. Stanley, thank you once again. I appreciate it. Join us tomorrow as we actually have Mr. Anderson, one of our math teachers. We're going to be discussing relationships in school. So I'll see you on tomorrow in Educators Drinking Coffee. Bye-bye.